In 2018, a few hundred people gathered in Honduras to walk towards the United States. Soon, others who were also fleeing violence and poverty in their home countries joined the group. These migrant caravans reached around 10,000 individuals by the end of the year and continued gaining tractions into the next. You might have seen images of women and children running away from tear gas thrown at them by the US border. Or maybe you saw the angry tweets by Donald Trump stating that this was a national emergency and that it needed a military response. The migrant caravans weren't entirely new, but what's interesting about them is their ability to collectively organize in the refusal to sit back and wait for people to help them. And this revealed a number of conflicting ways that international refugee law and policy operate. International refugee law includes a number of rights: legal status, housing, education, and many others. And this is really crucial for many. This is not the entire story, however, and because many states have set up barriers that make it difficult for people to reach a safe place and to apply for asylum in the first place. And this leaves many refugees in a precarious situation. And international refugee law is only partly able to deal with these issues in turn. And this is especially because it disproportionately represents the interest of powerful states that aim to limit and to control the movement of displaced people. Also, the legal definition of a refugee only hardly encompasses all those who flee either. And despite all these barriers, the migrant caravan still decided to move towards the north and can be considered a protest against barriers that attempt to silence and to exclude refugees. And the migrant caravans, so they were responded to by many actors: the US and Mexican government, Guatemala, the United Nations, activists, and many others. My findings, however, suggest that even if they drew upon international refugee law or similar legal frameworks in the response to the caravans, this doesn't necessarily mean that this response was neutral or that it was necessarily mainly to the benefit of refugees themselves. So why should we even care about this? Well, people who flee are not necessarily just a problem to be dealt with or passive victims. They have their own ideas about what's best for them, and they do act accordingly. Unfortunately, the legal framework doesn't necessarily help them do so. And this reminds us to look to those who are on the move themselves in order to understand how to move forward in the best possible way.